वी आर लाइव और 4:30 बज चुके हैं। आज हमारे साथ है अनंत महादेवन सर। वंस अपॉन अ प्राइम टाइम, yes, that's his book and that's all that we are going to ask him about. Actually, not all that we are going to ask him about. We are going to ask him about a lot of things because he is somebody who acts, does theatre, has done ads, has done movies, has directed, has written a book, has written scripts, has written for TV serials. मतलब इतना सब कुछ, I don't think I'll be able to finish it in one session. So we might just keep having a lot of sessions with him. But for now, let's just add him. And we have sent him a request and we're waiting for him to join. He's very punctual. So he's going to be here very, very soon. Hi everyone. Hello. How
are we
you?
doing? Hello, how are we doing?
We are good, and everyone is waving out to you, saying their hi, saying their wave,
Hello, hi,
saying their
hi,
hello.
hello everyone, hello everybody.
So I was just telling them before you came that, one session is not enough with you. We'll have to do a lot more multiple sessions because you do many things.
Why do you do this to all those lovely people who are coming to see us? I think we should just limit it to one session, and before they say enough, we should say goodbye.
They can never say enough because you have done so much and you're doing so much more that we want to know about all of it. And today we've anyways kept it limited to your new book. मतलब यही बच गया था कि बुक भी मैं ही लिख लूंगा। कुछ बचा है?
I don't know. There's so much to be done. There's so much to be done. I feel totally incomplete right now. And if I look at the number of tasks that I have to accomplish, I think, like you said, I'll need more lifetimes, like you need more sessions. So that's where I stand right now.
See, that's why I call you my guru, because you have so many lessons to teach. And I think I've known you for 2 years. And still I have so much more to learn and so much more to do and so much more to talk and so much more to go on and on and on.
You sound like that girl from That's My Girl now. Yeah.
Yes, I am your girl from That's My Girl, and finally after 16 years I have found you and I have a lot to ask you.
Yeah, but please don't ask me what we did in the play. Ask me what we did in the book.
Yes, so today's session is all about Once Upon a Prime Time. So I'm going to get a little serious, like, the serious reporters. It's a little difficult for me to get serious when you're around, but I'll still try. So, very seriously, let's get back to your book that has just been launched, Once Upon a Prime Time, written by Ananth Mahadevan, sir. So tell me, how did this book happen? How did you think of writing this book?
Say about 10 years back, I realized that I've been running parallel to the television industry in India. And, when sponsored television started after the Asian Games in 1982, and color television was introduced into our homes, that's when sponsored television started, and all the shows and the serials started off together in 1 week in September. And I was part of that first week, and was part of television ever since that first week. So I suddenly realized that the number of experiences I've had, the number of incidents that happened, the number of people I have met, and the number of lessons I have learned, all seem so humongous and enriching that since I had not kept a diary of all these lovely moments that I could cherish, I realized, or I thought that maybe I should, put it down in the form of a book. Yes, it is autobiographical, but I wanted to make sure that all my peers and all the veterans and all my, the so-called elders and the so-called seniors are there who have contributed and been the founding fathers of Indian television. So it's a tribute to their work. It's a memory. It's a walk down memory lane of my work, and it's a history of Indian television. So it's all put together, and I think, in a way, if not 100% complete, at least 80%, completely a reference book of Indian television.
I totally agree with you on that because I have read the book and I'm still reading the book and I'm glued to it right now. And especially like you said, 1982, I wasn't even born, so I didn't know what that whole era was like. Like, we've always seen straight the color television. We were at the times when Z came in, so we didn't know what it was like, waiting for that Sunday to have those entertainment channels and whatever. But the way you've written the book, you actually make us visualize and make us be like, I'm transported to that era. I've told you that earlier also when I was reading the chapters, that I'm suddenly taken back to that time where I'm like, oh, was it like this? This is exactly how it would have been back then. And you have been.
I'm so glad to hear that, because when I started writing it, it didn't occur to me that I would be also catering to a readership of a generation that wasn't born, like you said. It was mostly the middle generation which enjoyed these shows, and it was directed towards them. Then when I started writing, the book has got 3 episodes. Episode 1, the beginning; episode 2, the middle; and episode 3, a new beginning. So when I started writing episode 3, that's when I realized that this is a generation that is currently functioning, and if I don't give them a picture of what happened, like when I read about the birth of cinema in India, I mean, I would like to read books that give me the kind of picture that you just said, visualize the way it happened when we were not around. So I'm so glad you brought that point up, because it had, I had skipped that in my mind initially, but then later it came up and I didn't know whether I would do justice to that. So thank you so much for that observation.
Yeah, because the very thing of that book, like the first few lines, obviously I don't remember the exact quote, but when you saw the radio for the first time in your ancestral home at Kerala, the way you described that, I knew this is a radio, and from there you've taken to the television, which was black and white, and then how, the whole journey of how it was earlier only 2 hours, and today it is like we have so many channels that we don't even know the names of the channels that exist, and so many shows that you can't watch it all. So you've been a part of that, and you've been a part of here. You have watched things then, you watch things now. So you've had a blend of both. So how is it? Like,
Uh, Actually, when we started off, I think I've been fortunate to be at the right place at the right time. That time was very important, because you are there since the inception, and you're there even now, acting in web series when the whole medium has, or the platforms have changed. So it's been quite a journey, but I would want to say, at the cost of, rubbing a few people the wrong way, that when it started off, uh, we had some great names who made television, who switched, actually not switched, but also adjusted from the cinema medium, from the big screen to the small screen. And there were some very, very notable, remarkable filmmakers like Rishikesh Mukherjee, Bashu Chatterjee, Aziz Mirza, Kundan Shah, Sai Paranjpe, Ramesh Sippy, Gulzar, Shyam Benegal, Govind Nilani. I mean, these are masters whose works we have enjoyed, and I'm sure the generation now is also enjoying their works on the digital platforms. So imagine these people taking to television and giving what they are not familiar with, a certain kind of form, and also a certain kind of structure, which is not cinema but another medium altogether. So they adjusted so beautifully. But what has happened down the years is, after the millennium came in 2000, and around that time, a lot of these satellite channels had mushroomed. It was good, very good for us, because the quality of telecast improved. There was more, kind of freedom to do a lot of things which Doordarshan did not allow you to do. But what happened later, when the daily soaps crept in, was television suddenly went, hurtling back towards the 60s and the 70s of South Indian cinema. I mean, if you see very successful family dramas of the 60s and 70s, mainly from South India, there were three or four very prominent banners like Venus Pictures, Gemini, Prasad Productions, and a few others who indulged in a lot of, melodramatic family entertainers that were very, very popular. So I think the daily soaps, since they had to feed the channels every day with a lot of material, they did not could not really come up with original writing or a crop of writers who could deliver the goods. What they very surrogately did and very subtly did, which people didn't realize, I think, was lift a lot of sequences, a lot of characters, a lot of behavior patterns and settings from most of these South Indian melodramas, and virtually, what would one say, stretched each scene into an episode. And suddenly, your television started looking not very good. And it actually, people use the word regressive,
Yes.
for the kind of television that came in. So it wasn't the classic television that we had, There was no longer the short story genre or the suspense genre, or you had classics being adapted like Mujrim Hazir, or even Ghalib, Mirza Ghalib by Gulzar. So suddenly everything stopped, and what you saw was totally mindless, and the kind of characters that were written into the scripts weren't identifiable at all. So it went downhill, and it's now trying to again revive and get back to the 80s. Number one, by very uncannily, I mean, coincidentally with all this pandemic happening, Doordarshan reviving all the classic serials, and the
Yes.
modern generation suddenly getting hooked on to those series. I mean, if they were bad, and if they weren't good enough, as most of the modern today's chief executives consider them to be, then this generation wouldn't have been hooked onto that. So that is number one. And number two, the web series that has come in now is, if you see it very carefully, you'll realize that the 8 or 10 episodes are actually a reformatting of what we did when television started. Every series was about 13 episodes, except some of them which went on to 52 or 104. But most of them were, beginning with 13 episodes. So, and then going on to maybe another 13, extended seasons. And these web series are just the same, 8 episodes of an hour each or something, which actually amounts totals to 13 episodes. So, are we? Is it all coming full cycle? Are we getting back to that format once again? But are we having the kind of thinkers? Are we having the kind of writers and the makers that made our television so memorable? That is the big question.
So, like in your book, or like you just said in our chat, that we are going back to the circle, and life is a circle. Like, we started with the whole thing of good television, then came a time where we just clouded our television with anything and everything because we had to fill in the slots. And then we are going back to, like, either we are going back to history where we are watching the old good sagas, or we are creating something new, which are limited because, like you said, the 13 episodes and all. What was your experience when you did your first show back then, and when you did your first OTT web series today? Like, what was the difference like?
When I started out with, veteran and a very acclaimed filmmaker like Sai Paranjpe, who was, basking in the glory of films like Chashme Baddoor, Sparsh, and then she was making Katha also. Uh, I had not done too many films by then. I just done a film or two. My theatre had taken off in full swing, and that's what helped me to get on to television. I could see that Sai was very meticulous. She shot with a 3-camera setup in the beginning, right there in the beginning
Wow.
in '84, yes. And it was being edited right there on a console where, you call it online editing. And suddenly I learned a lot over a period of just 13 episodes than I would learn right now, because though we were given the scripts, we rehearsed the scripts and we went on to the sets at Natraj Studios where we shot. And today, your scenes or your slides, as they call it now, aren't given to you till probably you get into your makeup van and get ready. And if you're lucky, probably it comes on or WhatsApp the previous night, and you don't get time to even think about them or prepare it or pitch it the way you want to. There are a lot of people running around the set. There are a lot of assistant directors. There are a lot of techno gadgetry that you see with headsets and mics, people whispering into the mics and talking. It all looks like very hi-fi, sci-fi stuff. But eventually, what you churn out, you don't see the results that you expect. But I have been very, very selective with my web series. So I've done a couple or two, but the ones I'm really, really happy about are the two which are coming up right now on Sony Live. One is a series called Avrodh, which is a very detailed investigative look at the Uri attacks. And the other one is where I play an raw intelligence officer in that. And the other one is Scam 82, which is based on the Harshad Mehta stock exchange scam, where I play the RBI, the Reserve Bank of India governor, who unearthed the scam. So I have two very interesting characters to portray, and fortunately, both these are being produced by a very serious and veteran, person. I mean, Samir Nair, who was head of Star and then went on to NTTV and did a lot of television. I mean, he's a veteran of television, so he knows his job.
Totally.
So yeah, so I'm glad that he has produced both these series for applause, and I was in good hands, fortunately. So I pick and choose my web series now. It's not the way when everything came my way in the 80s and the 90s, and I could blindly say yes to them because they were all so good that you didn't want to refuse anything. In fact, I feel sorry that I missed out on a lot of classics like Malgudi Days or Katha Sagar, or even series like Mirza Ghalib, but more than made up for it with other work. So that's how different it is today. I mean, the professionalism and the attitude and the qualification of the filmmakers then. I mean, I wonder how many of our generation can match that.
So we have a question for you, though we have a lot of questions, but there is this question that has come for you. You have done very diverse roles, from positive to negative to parallel across mediums, from live to OTT. What kind of role and platform gives you the most satisfaction?
Platform, I mean, if you're talking about platforms, I would straight away go for theatre and say the theatre gives me the maximum kick, the maximum satisfaction. And if theatre was paying and if theatre was professional, like theatre in the UK and the US, I'd probably end up only doing theatre and probably directing a few films. But in today's times, at least in this country, one can't afford that. One has to straddle on three boats: theatre, television, and cinema. But when I get a good script and I feel that it's outstanding and can make a very good film, I go all out and I enjoy the job, or rather the very pleasurable job of directing that film. So that's a great high I get, and my last few films have given me that satisfaction. On television, I shudder to actually direct anything now, because the daily soaps actually end up not giving you the kind of creative satisfaction that you're looking for. And it's more about churning out a lot of episodes factory style rather than any creativity that used to exist before. When I directed for television, I made series like Chamatkar or Ghar Jamai or Alvida Darling, so many of them. But that isn't the scenario now. So I guess I would stick to acting in web series, in good web series and television. I would want to do some great films, make some great films, and continue with theatre.
Okay, so Rahul Dhruv has been going on and on about a lot of your work, which is, I'm sure he still wants to type in a lot. And I'm sorry, Dhruv, I've not been able to read all your, means I'm reading all your comments, but I've not been able to talk about all of them. Yes, Bazigar is one of his favorites, that he's loved you in Bazigar, and he's so happy to see you on the new
Thank you,
OTT.
Dhruv. Thank you.
And Dr. Saju, Dr. Rasna, Dr. Joey are sending you a lot of waves and hi.
Hello
And
there. Hello, everyone. Yes.
and
Thank
there
you.
is Mohit asking, are you from NSD too? Um have you been from NSD? Is a question that he's repeatedly asking.
Okay, NSD stands for National School of Drama, but I am from NSD, the Natural School of Drama. I feel that acting is not something that can be taught. Acting can be something that can be honed. If you have it in you, you could sort of learn the technicalities. You could sharpen your wits, and you could polish it. But if acting can be taught, then I'm Shakespeare.
I'm a student of this Gurukul. So what you all have, that is exactly what I was being told in my beginning days of theater. That's my goal, and that's how I could be on the stage and do what I've been doing. So I'm a part of the Ananth Mahadevan Gurukul, and I learn a lot from him. So that's my NLP. Okay, so back to before I again get distracted, which happens quite often. Thank you, Shloka. So she really loved the quote that you just said about NSD. That yes, that's so true. We are from the Natural School of Drama. She wants to ask you a question, which she's saying that you've written for television, you write theater, you have written scripts, you've written. So how was it different from writing a book and writing scripts? Like obviously there are different forms of writing. So
Uh, well, when you write a script, you have a certain time limit. You have to say a story either in 20 minutes or in 2 hours, depending whether it's television or a film. And you have to hold the interest of the audience and structure uh, your storytelling in 2 hours in such a way that it's fascinating, it's innovative, it's not boring, and at the same time, it sort of tells the story in a very interesting way. But when I sat down to writing this book, there was a flood of memories, and the mind was running faster than the pen. And I tried to race against my mind and tried to put it all down. Of course, I lost the race, and every time I had to go back to the starting point and run the race again and get everything that I had forgotten back into the book, into the manuscript. And even as late as, say, 2 weeks back, before we released the book, I still remembered a few incidents that I had missed out and I put into the book. So I had to structure the book in such a way that, it did not sound like a very chronological history of Indian television. That would be very boring and very,
absolutely.
yeah. So I went back and forth like actually a screenplay, a screenplay going flashback and present. So the reader has to maybe be a little attentive and catch what I had said in chapter 3 because it's coming back into chapter 10. I found that structuring very interesting. And so the writing became almost screenplay like, but I had to encompass a lot of material into it. So the Kindle is about, I think, 245 pages, but the actual book is 380 pages. And so all the material that has been stuffed into it. In fact, just day before yesterday, one of my very good friends, Bishwadeep Ghosh, who has been the ex-editor of the Pune Times and is an author himself. He's written the book on Dhoni, MS Dhoni. He called up to say that he finds the book 100 pages less. So you could imagine, probably there was so much material that could have gone into it, but finally it did not.
So that is exactly what I was about to ask you. That when I was reading the book, and it felt like there's a lot more that we want to know. So are we going to see a sequel to the book very soon?
No, if that is what happens after the first edition, I would very gladly update it and add to the chapters, add to a lot of incidents, and probably get a 380-page book into a 450-page book or something, because there's so much more to say. But that would make it more complete. So the second edition might just see a growth in volume and a growth in a lot of things to say. But I'm waiting for the feedback as to what people feel about the first edition.
Juhi, the Sony Babbar, is saying, "Hey Shweta, and hello, my dear Ananth sir. Hi, Juhi.
Hey,
So glad to see you."
Juhi, how are you? So glad to be connecting with you again. I hope everything is fine. I hope the baby must have grown up now. I mean, I don't think I'll recognize the baby anymore. But anyway, lots and lots of luck, lots and lots of regards. And how is Anoop and how is Nadiraji? Please give them my regards.
So Juhi and I are going live on 7. So do join us, Ananth sir, and put in your questions. Maybe at that time we can reply to you and say a hi.
Great.
Hello, Vandana.
Incidentally, Juhi Babbar is in the book. Juhi Babbar is in the book because we did a fabulous comedy called Ghar Ki Baat Hai, which we directed for Shah Rukh Khan's Red Chillies. It was a tribute to Ejo Hai Zindagi, and Juhi Babbar, Sumit Raghavan, Swapnil Joshi, and Ali Asgar, along with Jayti Bhatia, were in the series, and we shot it with a 3-camera setup, just like Sai Paranjpe did. And Juhi was an absolute delight and a revelation, because I think she was doing comedy for the first time. And we had a blast on the sets, and we did about 32 episodes, and we were supposed to go in for a second season, but NDTV, finally it got taken over by Turner Broadcasting, and it closed down. So, but thank you, Juhi, for all the wonderful moments, and you are in the book, so please pick up the book and read it.
Thank you, Juhi, for coming and messaging on our chat, because suddenly we came to know about this show, because I've still not reached this chapter, and all our viewers know about it. So people, if you want to read more and more and know a lot more things, because we cannot put the entire stories in this one chat, please go and get your Kindle version of Once Upon a Prime Time. Yes, Juhi saying, yes, what fun days. Thank you, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Working with Ananth sir is always great fun. I think we all should do a theatre together, Henna?
Yes, she's a wonderful theatre artist. Yes, oh my God, she's got theatre in her genes, in her roots. Yes.
So yes, मुझे भी थोड़ा एक छोटा सा अच्छा सा रोल दे देना आप दोनों जब theatre करोगे, because you know how much I love to be on the stage, and especially when it comes to you. And I'm already enjoying chatting with Juhi, so I'm sure I'm going to have a great fun if all of us do something together. What say, Ananth? So say yes, you have to say yes. You can't like give that pregnant pose of yours and act like, okay, you know you don't have a choice there. Say yes. No, I want to hear. Say yes, yes, yes.
Say what?
Say yes.
Say what?
You're acting like a duckkan, and I'm going to go if you don't say yes.
All right. Yes. Yes. What is it? Yes, what is it?
There you go. See? You know I'm going to make you say yes. Okay, sorry. Rukawat ke liye kheti. Let's get back to Once Upon a Prime Time. You know, when I read this line, because this was one line that I kept hearing the entire childhood when it came to television, it was a very proper line. Rukawat ke liye khed hai. And I love using this line because many a times today when we go digital, like our live chats, we have those technical glitches and we use this line quite often. So let's get back to prime time. So tell us, जब आप लिख रहे थे, what kind of distractions happened? How could you limit, because there's so much to talk, and though you're going to come up with the second series, how did you decide to keep it to this much? Like, what are the tips when it comes to writing something like this?
See, fortunately, since I had followed the whole television journey, either as an actor or as a viewer, so it was all very incredibly fresh in the mind, even though it is the story of 38 years. And so I could structure it correctly. I could structure it in a certain order, but there is a disorder to it, like I said before. And I had to there were a lot of interruptions because suddenly I had to go back to a certain person I had not met. Fortunately, the people whom I worked with, I had spoken with them and they had narrated all their experiences and incidents. But people like, say, Sham Benegal, or people like, say, Govind Nilani, or Aziz Mirza, who again kept wondering why I wasn't in Nukkad. But I said, you have the answer, you should tell me. So these were the people whom I went back to, and I had to sort of, sit with them, talk to them, and learn about the experiences of making the classic shows like Nukkad or Tamas. So, so there was a lot of interruption because I had to stop writing, go back, get the material, then decode it, then put it back into the book. So it was quite chaotic, but I'm glad that it all fell into place because it was one hell of an exercise, and it took 3 years to sort of put this all together in some kind of a readable form and in some kind of an order. I tell you, it was an exercise, a very rewarding exercise, and though it really, sort of, what would one say, took all the energies out of me. Finally, it's left me with a lot of high energy and a big high after the book is released. So it's a great feeling right now that a lot of people are reading it and getting back to me. And when it's your first book, it's like your first love and your first book, and you really you want to know how it's like received by people.
So you started writing, I think, since school and college. You were writing something like you've been into writing like from the very beginning. So,
Yeah.
like you said, the first write-up always gives a very big high, and especially when you get a good feedback or appreciation and all of it. So let's take you back down the memory lane. What was the first write-up that you ever wrote, and what was the whole feeling? What was it about? Everything about it.
It started in school where we used to write for the school notice board, and the school magazine. And I used to write some poems then. I don't know how bad they are now because fortunately I don't remember them. But apparently they were liked by the principal and they were put up on the notice board and printed in the school magazine. Then it went into the college magazines every year. So the writing process started right from school and went on to college. And then once I graduated, I started writing as a film critic for a tabloid called The Daily. And that is where the entire schooling, there is nothing better than learning on the job. And film appreciation is something that you learn when you get into the film society movement, see the films of the great masters, you write about those films, and then you, as a job as a film critic, and then a job as a copywriter in an advertising agency, all the writing came into being. Then when I started making movies, even television, I used to do a lot of ghost writing. And even in my films, I used to do the screenplay myself, never officially credited myself for that, but tandem with the official writer, I used to write and contribute. And so that's how it all came into being. And then after finally getting credit as a screenplay writer, and then getting to the book. So it's been a long journey. It hasn't been overnight when I just picked up a pen and paper and put pen to paper and said, okay, here I am writing a book. The writing process in the mind has been churned for almost, 30 years. So that's where it all, sort of got polished and probably, now made it readable for audiences.
So, Madiha is asking, what all movies have you written that have already been shot?
I mean, all the films that I made, like Dil Vil Pyar Vyar or Dil Mange More or Aksar, or later on when I made films like Me Sindhutai Sabkal, which got me my first national award as a writer, and of course Gaur Hari Dastan, Rough Book, and now my latest film in Marathi, Mai Ghat, and Dr. Rakmabai, which was a film on India's first lady doctor. So All these films had my writing in them.
And I shall tell you all, God Hari Dastan's book is also, the screenplay is available. So you all can also, with Once Upon a Prime Time, buy that book and read the screenplay and watch it too. And there is, please tell us a little about Me Sindhutai Sapkal, because I really like it. Prabhu Ramchandra's Karan is saying it was an amazing plot. Madhiya saying Aksar was brilliant. And I am saying Dil Vil Pyar Yaar was extremely brilliant. By the way, people, you all need to know, he's giving me the signing amount for Dil Vil Pyar Yaar too. I thought, थोड़ा promotion अपना भी कर लूँ side by side.
बाज नहीं आओगी तुम.
Never.
Prabhu, Me Sindhutai Sabkal was the first film that really took me out of the La La Land that I was in, and put me onto the serious filmmaker category. This lady who lives in Hadapsar, Sindhutai Sabkal, and she picks up abandoned infants from the street and gives them shelter. Her own story was an amazing story. And when I read that she actually went and picked up, the food that was the rice goblets that were left on the funeral pyre of someone who died, and cooked that as bread and a roti for her newborn child. It just tore my heart, and I went up to her, I spoke to her, and realized that she was one hell of a woman, and she could be, so you meet a few people in life who could give you a life-changing experience. Sindhutai Sabkal and Gaur Hari Das were two of them who gave me the feeling that life was much, much, much beyond what I had, seen or visualized or experienced. And they left me enriched in more ways than one. So, it's a very ennobling experience meeting people like Sindhutai and Gaur Hari Das, who was probably who is amongst the last of our living freedom fighters. So, yes, the making of the film was quite dramatic in its own way. And since it was a Marathi film, my first Marathi film too, I was very, very keen on making it, styling it on a global film pattern and not the way we know our cinema, loud and melodramatic. Because her life itself was so melodramatic that I had to tone it down totally. Otherwise, people would think that, this is an incredible story. This actually happened, but her life was incredible.
So also somebody is asking, and this is also my question too, which I've been wanting to ask. When you wrote Rough Book, it is totally about education, and you actually say that education, you took the whole concept about education in a very different way. So how did that happen? Like, that's completely a different thing compared to these stories about the education system and all of it.
Yeah, when Akash Chaudhary, the producer, and Vivek Vaswani, who was also the producer, they approached me and said, make a film on education. That was the most generic statement I'd heard in my entire life. Because education was more academic, it wasn't visual. And it was very tough to think of something, because I've seen a lot of films on education. I never thought that they were films on education. They were frivolous films. They were either campus frolics, or they were, very pretentious films which were incredible. Since I was given this opportunity to make a film on education, I did not want to lose it, because here was a challenge, and it was a very tough one. So we met up with a lot of teachers, we met up with a lot of students, and we met up with a lot of parents. And I think that makes the entire, social fabric, because each one of us is either a student, a parent, or a teacher. And I learned from their experiences. I put down their experiences. So everything that you see in the film, in the form of Tanishta Chatterjee, who is one teacher, 20 teachers rolled into one.
All the I totally agree.
Yeah, so many teachers, their experiences rolled into one. And then we had the whole bunch of teachers like Joyce Gupta, Jayti Bhatia, Deepika Amin, all of them playing the other teachers. So, and of course, Kaizad Kotwal, who was the principal. The experiences, the real life experiences, if you felt rough book, you could touch a chord somewhere and you could identify with the happenings in rough book. It is because everything that we said in the film was real, really happened. There was a teacher who taught with the guitar, and she tried to sort of explain the certain, the scientific processes, even as she did all the experiments inside, a glass jar. So it was all about how they made education not restricted to the classroom or the blackboard, but they took education out into the playground, and they made it fun and practical for the students. And the whole system was something that challenged them, and her fight against the current prevailing education system is what the film is about. So Rough Book is all slices of life, and that's why you feel it's so real.
Yeah, because you feel like wish education system was like this, so we would love to study and enjoy, and the whole process of education being so much fun is something that every time I watch Rough Book is what I take. And we have Vidya saying, "Hi Vidya, nice to see you. Hello Anandji, I'm your friend Santosh Kumar Rao's cousin. Please tell me a hi." Also,
Hello, Vidya. How are you?
Also, Mr. Kapoor is asking, "Sir, you have seen transitions of different mediums and actors. Any funny incident or anecdote that you would like to share with us?"
Why do you all ask for funny incidents? Even in my previous talk, everyone wants to know about funny
Because
incidents.
I'll tell you
Nobody.
why. No, I'll tell you this. By now that you've asked, I will tell you why. Because you have this thing कि पहले ना सबको लगता है इतने serious. Like, the first time I saw you, that was different when I came and I was like, "Hello, I'm the one who's playing your daughter." Forget that incident. But besides that, you come across like the serious teacher who everyone gets scared of, and they want to try and make you smile and know about some funny things around. कुछ funny चीजें होती भी हैं कि नहीं?
बहुत सारी funny चीजें होती हैं. In fact, once I got a call from Rishikesh Mukherjee at 11 o'clock in the morning, and he said, "Ananth, what are you doing?" I said, "Nothing." He said, come to a bungalow in Juhu. And I said, "What happened, Dada?" He said, "Just come, don't ask questions." So I rush down, I sit in the car, I go drive down to the bungalow, and what I see is a whole lot of people shooting there. And he says, come here. I said, "Dada, what is it?" "Yellow, wear your clothes, these are your costumes, do some basic foundation, do some basic makeup, and these are the lines, come on, go there, say these lines." I said, "Dada, wait, please tell me what my character is. I know you work very fast, but I can't keep up with your pace, You just go there and say these lines." Okay, I said, all right. I memorized the lines. I went up there. I was playing a husband, so I had to give out the spiel to my wife. He said, "Action." I did it. And then he said, "Cut, and come on, we're going on to the next scene." And now I wanted to know what the hell was going on. Was this some kind of a joke? And then I realized that there was another guy standing behind the monitor, and he was another actor. I don't want to name him. He was the actor who was supposed to play this part. The actor hadn't turned up till 11 o'clock in the morning. And Rishikesh Mukherjee, being Rishikesh Mukherjee, he picks up the phone and does a lightning casting before the other guy can realize what hit him. And he came on the set just when I was performing. That's the reason why he wanted me to just finish. So he could say, "I've already shot with someone. I'm sorry, I don't need you anymore." And this, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I felt bad for the guy, but this is one lesson that everyone has to learn. One has to be professional. The kind of unprofessionalism that prevails in the film industry or the television industry, it's not funny. It's not funny at all. So sometimes these lessons, you are at the happier end of it by actually grabbing a role that was supposed to be someone else's, and that too with Rishikesh Mukherjee. But at the same time, you feel sad for a guy who got it all wrong. So this was a tragicomic situation that happened in my life. It's in the book, so I don't know whether you've come up to that chapter or not.
So, anyways, like like you said, Once Upon a Prime Time is a book that you go back, you go forth, you go back, you go forth, because you have actually made it like a movie, where you can visualize everything. So I'm going very slowly. I'm immersing into the book and enjoying every little page. So I'm not like slowly skimming through, and I think everyone is gonna do that. Going back to an ad where I'm telling everyone, all the viewers, please go online, buy the Kindle of Once Upon a Prime Time and start reading, and you can keep DMing him all the messages, all the reviews and everything about the book. And if there is any more question about the book, you can DM me. हम आपके क्वेश्चंस पहुंचा देंगे वहां पे, क्योंकि हम और बहुत सारे लाइव चैट्स करेंगे, और यू कैन डीएम सर आल्सो. Hello, author Hardia. He's just said a hello to you. And
Hello there.
okay, you've been doing this play called That's My Goal, apparently, which has been doing very well. Any funny incident of That's My Goal with the actress Shweta Roira and the entire team?
Don't ask, Shweta. I don't think you want to know, and I don't think you want me to reveal all the funny things that happened on stage with you, and you not taking your coming onto stage, and me wandering around the stage wondering whether you're still there or whether you left for home, and I don't know what the hell is happening behind the wings and what went wrong. So let's not share all these secrets. Everyone thinks that it's been a perfect performance till today, all the shows. So let's keep it to that.
Isn't it perfect? You've had a perfect time to enjoy every show. I'm a full entertainment when it comes on stage, being around and giving my best.
Okay, here there is Deepak. Someone, Deepak, I
Yes.
lost. Yeah, what did he say?
Deepak is saying, Sir, Dil Mange More is one of my favorite films ever.
Okay. Here's a surprise for you. Deepak.
Oh, wow. Deepak, look, he's wearing a t-shirt, Dil Mange More. And he's also saying, hi, Shweta ma'am, I'm a big fan. Thank you, Deepak. Though Ananth sir is signed me for Dil Vil Pyar Vyar too, but if he plans to make Dil Mange More too also, he knows whom he's going to sign. I'm waiting for the signing amount again, so just mention. Oh my god! Deepak is super happy, so you just made his day. What a coincidence.
Yeah, that was sometimes things happen. And Shweta, I think another coincidence just happened. You said that you never know Dil Mange More could be a web series, which I'm thinking about. And if it does happen, then you're certainly in it.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. You're already in it. Yeah.
दीपक सिंह सर मुझे भी कास्ट कर लो सर. आपको जिसको कास्ट करना है कर लो. दिल मांगे मोर 2, दिल विल प्यार व्यार 2, आपके सब सीक्वेंस में मैं हूँ. आई हैव told myself I still have the signing amount. I'm just reminding you. Even if Rough Book 2 is being made, I'm the student.
God, what do I do? This is getting to be blackmail. I didn't expect this. I came on the show to talk about Once Upon a Prime Time. Be kind to me. We are talking about Kindle. Kind.
I'm being kind to you, and I have learned this from you. Don't let any opportunity go. So I'm making the most of it.
Yeah, you're taking a chance. You never know whether there's an opportunity or not. You're just taking that chance and just hoping that it is an opportunity. You're too clever, I tell you.
I'm just making the most. I love to perform with you. I get to learn so much. So how can I just let it go? And
I should have put a condition that you get Baller with you. Otherwise, I wouldn't do the show. Where is Baller?
If that would have happened, we wouldn't be talking about Once Upon a Prime Time, or it would be about Baller. I wouldn't be able to pitch myself. So I had to tell Baller that please Baller, थोड़े टाइम के लिए सर और मुझे छोड़ दे, ताकि हम उनके नए बुक के बारे में बात कर सके जो अभी Kindle पे है और बहुत जल्दी paperback आने वाली है. I'm waiting to get the paperback and then come to you and get my copy signed, because that is something that I have been wanting to do now for a very long time. Like since the time I came to know you're writing this book, I've been telling you that I want to get a signed copy.
You got it.
So, before we sign out, since we have a limited time and Instagram is going to tell us that, okay, it's time to say bye-bye. So, before that, I would like you to sing a nice song from Dil Vil Pyar Vyar 2 for us beautiful ears.
We haven't selected the songs yet from Dil Vil Pyar Vyar 2, so
Oh,
I
sorry,
can't sing.
Dil Vil Pyar Vyar 1.
You're losing your mind. You know, you're getting nervous.
That happens when you're around. I automatically get nervous because, you know, you know how it is. So, Dil Vil Pyar Vyar 1 से एक गाना हमारे viewers के लिए.
Which one? There are 13 of them. I don't know which one to sing for you.
Anyone. Because all 13 are nice. So, whatever you feel like.
Which one? मेरी आवाज ही पहचान है गर याद रहे नाम गुम जाएगा चेहरा ये बदल जाएगा मेरी आवाज ही पहचान है गर याद रहे.
Thank you, and we can see all those hearts flowing because they all have loved the song and they would want you to sing a lot more. So, you know, I'm going to put up a swipe up link, the link that Sir keeps sending when he sings the songs, and you all can keep following that app and keep hearing him sing. Dr. Neelam is saying, Mummy G is here, and she's saying, Anand Ji, Bolo is still waiting for you. Yes, we are waiting कि quarantine खत्म हो ताकि आप आओ बॉलर के साथ खेलो हमारे साथ filter coffee पियो and we also do some nice photo shots.
I know, can't wait. Waiting to get there.
Also, Mohit is asking, sir, who's your favorite actor and actress and favorite director?
That's a tough question, Mohit. There are so many great actors and so many great directors. So, if you're talking about India, I have Satyajit Ray, Mrinal Sen, Ritwik Ghatak, Kadur Gopal Krishnan, Shaji Karun, Arvindan, Shyam Benegal. If you're talking about Sweden, then we have Ingmar Bergman. If you're talking about France, you have François Truffaut. If you're talking about Russia, you have Eisenstein. And if you're talking about Japan, you have Akira Kurosawa. So there are so many great directors. Fellini from Italy, and so it's tough. It's very tough. And yes, I mean there are so many great actors too. So don't put me through this embarrassing thing. We'll go into another session, and I'll have to explain why these are great directors and actors. But there have been great masters who have inspired me and taught me, and I'm extremely grateful to all of them. Because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to all of you. So all I can say is I'm extremely grateful to all the great directors and actors.
Thank you, sir, for coming live with us and talking about your new book, Once Upon a Prime Time. But we're going to get you back live because we want to talk about theatre, we want to talk about your movies, we want to talk about the ads and a lot more. And you don't have a choice. You have to come back live because we have a lot to learn from you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for watching, all of you, and all your love, because I couldn't really get all of you individually, but it's been wonderful. And please do pick up Once Upon a Prime Time and get 38 years of television into one book, and probably the entire summary of everything that you liked on television. So happy reading, and thank you once again.
Happy reading. Bye-bye.